Today's recipe is one of the most popular recipes on my website, especially around the holidays. I'm Christina from It Is a Keeper, and I share tried and true recipes that anyone can make. I believe if you can read, you can cook. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, I'm showing you how to make an easy orange fluff salad. This vintage recipe is always a crowd pleaser. Now make sure you stay tuned to the end to learn my favorite variations to switch it up. And be sure to grab the full printable recipe in the video description below. So this jello salad is so super simple to make. Now, if you're gonna be serving it for a holiday or a get together, you might wanna make it the day before. It's great to keep in the fridge for a couple of days. But it starts with some crushed pineapple. So I have drained this. You wanna drain it very, very well because you don't want any of that you don't want too much extra liquid in there. We're gonna need a little to activate the gelatin, but we don't need too much. So I drained this pretty good. Now, of course, it's pineapple, so it's juicy. It's gonna be impossible to get it completely drained, but you wanna get most of that heavy liquid out of there. So to our pineapple, we're going to add some orange gelatin, just right in there. Now, normally you would need a mixture of hot and boiling and cold water to make gelatin work. Not today. It's just the gelatin and the pineapple. So we're gonna get that combined. And it turns like this, like cosmic orange color. It's awesome. And it smells so good. Okay. You can also, I forgot to tell you this one. You can also use sugar-free gelatin in here. Perfectly fine if you wanna cut back on some of the sugar. My grandmother was diabetic, so we always made our jello salads and such with the sugar-free. You don't even miss it. Okay, so to this mixture, we are going to add a container of thawed Cool Whip. So it comes frozen. You wanna make sure you leave time to thaw it. Get it home from the grocery store, just pop it in the fridge. You're good to go. Get all of that out of there. And then we're just going to fold this whipped topping in. So just fold it right in there into the gelatin and the pineapple. Beautiful. All right, couple more things we're going to add in here. Number one, we're going to add some mandarin oranges. Again, I drained them, get most of that juice out. It's impossible to get it all out. It is a fruit after all. It will be a little bit juicy. Carefully fold those in. And then to that, we're going to add some cottage cheese. Now, up to you whether you want to use the large curd or the small curd. Personal preference there. Maybe you have texture issues like me. And then to this, we're going to add some sweetened shredded coconut. But again, if you want to cut back on some of the sugar, use the unsweetened. It's perfectly fine. It's up to you. And mini marshmallows. Now, the first time my son had this, he is like, what is that big chunk? He couldn't get it. And when I told him, I said, now if I had told you, give me a list of things you thought that big chunk was, he's like, yeah, I never would have said marshmallows. But it's classic in this vintage jello salad. So we're just going to fold all of that in until it's completely mixed together. And that's it. That's all that's in this salad. It's so super simple. All right. Now it does need to set up for a bit, so we're going to, I'm going to transfer it to a smaller bowl. What I'll do at this point is I'll transfer it to my serving bowl that I'm planning to serve it in, pop it in the fridge and let it set up like that. And then, maybe after an hour, maybe 2 hours, it should be good to go. And then we can dive in and eat it. See, this salad only takes minutes to put together and it's so light, fluffy, and flavorful. Now, before we dig in, let me share some tips for making this. When it comes to the holidays, I whip this up the day before, right? That way you have too much to do on the day of. Just make it the day before. That way there's plenty of time for it to sit. Now, you can also add and delete ingredients that don't suit your taste. So for instance, my guys aren't fond of the marshmallows, so I usually leave those out. Or if you're not fond of the coconut, axe that one. Another great idea from my friend Michelle is if cottage cheese kind of wigs you out a little bit, you can always use the whipped cottage cheese in place of it. That way you don't have the curds to kind of, mess around with the texture issues. Now, let's dig into this salad because it looks so luscious. So I have one here that I scooped out ahead of time. And I do like to hold back a couple of the mandarin oranges to garnish the finished salad with. I just think it looks pretty. You can totally do that. You don't have to. It's not a need to have. But I'm going in right here. Just look at that lusciousness. So light, so fluffy. There's just so much going on in there. It's absolutely fantastic. I can see why this vintage salad has been around for generations. There are so many great jello salad recipes out there. I have a fruity cherry jello salad recipe that always gets rave reviews. You don't want to miss it. You can check it out here. I'll see you over there.